There was a dramatic rend of the sky, purple lightning, signaling the approach of the enormous fleet of the cosmic army. It fell amid a stifling tempest of unnatural light and sound over the thick Amazon jungle. Shadows grew at the focal point of the show was the Aravan Vanguard, a renowned fleet across the galaxy for its countless victories. Troops in biomechanical exosuits descended, a terrifying fusion of sleek, extraterrestrial precision and raw physical power. Tall, mechanized suits slouched through the underbrush, while drones scanned the terrain above with cold, systematic effectiveness. General Thomas, a towering figure encased in gleaming steel armor, looked down at the area from his command pod with contempt. He held no affection for Earth, this primitive, feral planet. Just a view of untidy wilderness and savage creatures. The forests were thick, muggy, alive. His sensors labeled it all: nuisances, erratic weather, dense foliage. Animals that were highly territorial standing on the observation deck of his pod. His crimson eyes glowed as he sneered. Thomas muttered in a voice that sounded more machine than man, "This savage rock... They cling to it like it matters. They think dirt has value. Trees, as if they can protect them. It's adorable. Lieutenant?" He barked, a diminutive insectoid. Trixel chirped. "They have dispersed and outdated defenses. Our mechs are too strong for the jungle. We'll harvest this world's squads and resources by the end of the week." Underneath the arrogance of the Galactic Army, destruction followed. Ancient flora was crushed beneath their mechanized boots. Drones mapped the jungle with laser precision, reducing Earth's complex natural labyrinth to data. Cutting-edge flamethrowers cleared thick vegetation. Portable field generators created synthetic clearings for landing zones. The jungle, to them, was helpless, but hidden beneath the canopy. Something else watched. Major Elena Rivera squatted in the mud, her face streaked with camouflage. Around her moved Earth's elite special forces. The Jungle Division. Silent, deadly, ghost-like, born from decades of brutal training. They were forged in the most hostile jungle warfare conditions Earth had to offer. Rivera's keen brown eyes locked on the alien patrol. Through her scope, she spotted energy signatures. "And flaws, overconfident idiots," she muttered into her cums. "They really think tech can outsmart instinct." Captain Idris Khan's voice crackled back, soft and calm. "Overconfidence is the quickest route to a fall." Rivera smiled. "Yes, their armies were strong, but blind to the raw, untamed power of the jungle. Here, machines faltered, sensors failed. Every shadow could hide a soldier or a predator. Earth's warriors had trained for this moment for months, using ancient guerrilla tactics, harnessing silence, shadows, and the jungle's own rhythm. What the aliens mocked as primitive had become weaponized. "Go," Rivera whispered, and like wraiths, her team moved. They weaved through the foliage, laying traps made from vines, explosives, and camouflage. A low rumble shook the jungle as an alien mech patrol approached. At the front, a towering biped mech with plasma cannons. It crashed through the undergrowth, arrogant. The pilot laughed over open combs. "Rivera, defending Earth with plants and mud? How quaint." He didn't see the soldier who triggered the buried charge. In one violent roar, the lead mech's legs were shredded. The alien inside scrambled to eject, only to be shredded by gunfire. Panic spread. The jungle, once deemed harmless, was alive with fury. Aliens disappeared, one by one, picked off before they could react. By the time reinforcements arrived, they found only smoldering wreckage. Back at the command pod, silence reigned. General Thomas was briefed. He dismissed the skirmish. "Insignificant. Let them savor their little victory. Nothing's changed. Deploy the seismic tanks. We'll level the forest and drag them into submission." Trixel hesitated. His antennae twitched. "General, new reports show anomalies. The humans, they're using the jungle in ways we didn't predict." Thomas's crimson eyes narrowed. "They are primitives." Clicking nervously, Trixel said nothing more. Meanwhile, Rivera's team melted back into the canopy. Their victory was clear. But Rivera knew this was just the beginning. She stared at the flashing horizon. Alien machines lighting up the sky. They'll return stronger. She said, and over the comms Idris replied, so will we? The jungle is on our side. The Aravan elite had come expecting conquest. What they found was resistance. Earth, written off as archaic, had become a crucible of survival. The jungle was not just a backdrop. It was a weapon. A lot of the jungle. It might jeopardize the extraction of our resources, Thomas screamed. I don't care, trying to silence the warning. I don't care about the trees or the mud on this planet. This is about conquest. Follow my instructions. As the alien forces changed their approach, Rivera's crew reorganized. At a temporary base, hidden deep within the jungle, tension filled the air. Kane sat on a stiff, moss-covered log, carefully washing his rifle. Rivera examined a hand-drawn seismic map of the surrounding terrain. Seismic tanks, she muttered, her voice low, carrying a trace of anger. Kane looked up, uneasy. You think they'll use them? They have no other option, Rivera replied. They're failing out here with their tech. So they'll try to flatten the jungle, force us into open war. Massive seismic tanks arrived at dawn. Each one, a mechanical leviathan, thundered across the forest. Low-frequency vibrations pulsed from them, shaking the terrain, confusing wildlife, collapsing ancient trees behind their path. The lush rainforest began to look like a battlefield, but Rivera had expected this. She already had a counterplan. One that turned the enemy's size and strength into a vulnerability. Phase 1. Rivera whispered into comms, her tone steady. Kane led the distraction team, sniper fire and explosions from a distance, pulling alien infantry away to protect. The tanks. Their numbers thinned. Exactly as planned, Phase 2, Rivera signaled. Her squad crept in under natural cover, silently weaving toward the rear of the alien formation. With surgical precision, they planted charges on the weak points of each seismic tank. These machines were powerful, but not designed for close-quarters combat. When the aliens noticed movement, it was already too late. Rivera gave the command. Explosions thundered through the jungle. 2 tanks collapsed into flaming heaps, seismic emitters, sputtering out with pitiful whines. The last tank tried to retreat, but sank into a pit trap, its enormous weight swallowed by the muck. Thomas watched the carnage unfold, seething. Trixel's voice shook. How do they keep outmaneuvering us? Thomas didn't answer. The terrain was fighting with them. In ways we never imagined. At the top of the wreckage, Rivera stood grim-faced. But there was triumph in her voice. We bought ourselves some time, she told her crew. This isn't over. They'll return, stronger, smarter. Kane cracked a rare smile. So will we. Around them, the forest loomed, battered, but unbroken. Rivera looked out across the horizon. This was their world, and no invading force would take it for free. That night was heavy with silence, broken only by the faint, far-off hum of alien machinery. The jungle breathed, scarred, but alive. It remembered. Under a dense canopy, Major Elena Rivera crouched again. Her hand rested on her machete. Her squad blended into the terrain, like ghosts molded from dirt and shadow. The east flank's holding, crackled Captain Idris Khan. No. Sign they've spotted us? Added Sergeant Hall. Reinforcements inbound from the west. 15 minutes out. Full Met platoon. Rivera clenched her jaw. They're throwing everything they've got into this attack. They want to crush Earth's defenders once and for all. The seismic tanks had failed. Drones were neutralized. So now, brute force, armored troopers, mechs, aerial bombardments. Rivera issued her order. Let them take ground. Lure them in. Above the battlefield, General Thomas activated his command visor. His red optics glowed with frustration. This wasn't about conquest anymore. It was about saving face. I want them gone, he snarled. Deploy orbital strikers, Trixel flinched. General, they'll level the jungle? Our own troops? Expendable, Thomas snapped. At my command, fire. A searing beam of light fell from the sky, cutting the night apart. Trees evaporated, the earth trembled. Rivera's squad dove for cover. Status, she barked. We're intact, Kane responded. But they're blazing a path, forcing us to fight. on their terms. The jungle had always been their ally, but now it was burning. We stick to the plan, Rivera ordered. This ends tonight. The aliens advanced, their units moving in perfect sync, but they missed the signs. Tripwires underfallen. Branches, pressure plates hidden in ash. A mech stepped on one and was blown skyward. Infantry were flung into trees. Mines detonated in waves. A canopy trap collapsed. Unleashing a hail of razor blades, bamboo spikes rose from the underbrush. The jungle itself had turned against them. Then came the counterattack. Rivera's squad struck with ferocity. Captain Can led a flanking assault, controlled bursts from his rifle, dropping alien soldiers mid-charge. Sergeant Hall unleashed a flamethrower, turning the burning forest into a fiery maze. Rivera moved like a storm, silent, lethal. She stabbed a mech pilot through the visor, disabling the machine in seconds. Despite their superior numbers, the aliens faltered. Suddenly, Thomas's voice boomed from a battlefield mech. You fight well, humans, but this is the end. Surrender and die quickly. Rivera's response? She fired a grenade straight into his command shield. The blast knocked him back. He roared in fury. This was no longer war. This was desperation. In a final stand, the jungle division lured the alien army into a narrow valley. A kill zone. Ready? Rivera gasped, breathless. Kane answered, always. Her hand signaled the charge. The cliffs exploded, unleashing an avalanche of stone. Mechs and soldiers were crushed beneath. Tons of debris. Those who survived were eliminated by the division. Thomas's mech stumbled forward, plasma cannon charging. Rivera sprinted, leapt, grappled up the burning armor. With one swing of her machete, she sliced into the power core. The mech collapsed.